And that one slide they can go back to because they'll label it. And anytime that they're asked something, they can go back to either digitally or on paper, that slide, and they look and they find the picture and it's a spanner. And they remember the word. We can use images, definition matches, which is describing a word, crosswords, paragraph matching, listenings, prediction activities, and word searches. We'll be looking a little bit more at any questions about any of these activities here that you don't know what they are. We're going to look at them anyway. Okay. I should be able to. Oh, this is not working again. Sorry, my pen's not working again. Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you. Here are some examples of. Oh, I changed this last night. It's not saved it. Okay. Okay. I have other slides. I did have a lot of problems with my internet last night in the hotel, and they haven't saved. So we'll forward them on later, or I can maybe actually find them and put them on. Okay, so some of you have seen these before. I had actually changed it. So, for example, we can use images and describing. So here we've got describing the action and the description of how a person feels when they're standing with their hands on their hips. Arms crossed on your chest, not open to new ideas. Shoulders hunched, feeling lost or sad. These are possibly different in Indonesian because body language changes depending on culture. In the UK, hand to cheek means we're thinking, touching, or slightly rubbing the nose, lying, or questioning. Now, I'm going to skip through this because I had actually changed it. Okay, this one here's partially, that's very bizarre. Okay. What I want you to do, you've got one there, that's half saved. Okay. I want you to take a minute and I want you to read the descriptions. So the descriptions are here and I want you to match them to the words, okay? You gave me the idea yesterday. Okay. I think it should work. Yep, cool. Anyway. Now, my very first ever year at school, adjective, noun, and verb were described in exactly that way to me by my teacher. And it's something I've never forgotten. Yeah. So we also have to remember that depending on the person that we're speaking to, we also automatically simplify our language. Even you do so when you're speaking maybe to a young child. You simplify your language, yeah? So it's something that we all do automatically, but developing the skill consciously is something quite different. Sometimes to flop. Hello. Another slide that actually changed as well last night, but it's not saved. So we can have different resources. This one here is called a crossword. And the crossword is using images. Yeah. So the crossword using images, you have to match the number and then you have to write. And this is all for consolidation of terms so that we understand and remember. And we use the language repeatedly throughout the course. So you've got target language, target terms, and your students will remember them because you use them all the time. You can use these as what's called pre-teaching. So before you teach an activity, you look at your article, you look at your book, you look at your resources, and you identify the language that you know they'll not understand. And then you decide how you're going to teach that language. You can upload your developed resources onto, if you have Moodle, VLE platforms. We've got Canvas and City of Glasgow. There's lots of different ones. And that can be their homework so that they can be pre-prepared for what you're going to deliver in the class. They already know and understand the target language, and then you can subject teach. And you can do different activities for the same words. You can do a definition match, then you can do a crossword, then you can do something else. The proverbs, again, is a slightly higher level definition match. Every time you do the resources, you can change it, you can make it slightly more challenging, or you'll discover that they've not understood it at all and you need to bring it down. Yeah, and it's practice. It's like learning a language itself. It's practice and practice and practice. Okay, graphs, matching for a deeper understanding of the text. I'm actually going to ask for a quick break and I'm going to see if I can get the slides that I did last night. There are different activities that we use for different reasons. Some of the activities we use are for just words and remembering basic words of terms and translating them. Other activities we use are for a deeper understanding of the terms. We can put it into context. We can ask them to paragraph match, which means that you might have a heading, a title. You might have 6 paragraphs. And to measure the understanding of the students of the information given in the paragraph, then they have to match the heading with the paragraph. And then you look at it and you check the level of understanding of the students. These are all ways of measuring how much the students have understood, not only in English, but also of the lesson, of the subject being taught. These are 2 activities, very, very, very different activities. One is a graph, one is what we call a gap fill, and it's teaching exactly the same thing. You could use the written gap fill and ask them to translate the information and draw a graph. Or you could be targeting specific language in the gap fill, and they have to complete it with the correct word. It won't work here to click down, but if you click down, you'll see there's a variety of words and they have to choose the correct word. So it's language and context. So you're using, again, images, or you're using the written word. Okay. Okay, apologies for that. I redesigned the PowerPoint last night, and it half saved or something in the hotel, but we have it now. So we had some new slides, and then we had some of the old slides that I really didn't want. So, hello. Is it on? No, press. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. So, problems with the internet last night in the hotel. Half of it saved, half of it didn't. But I wanted to get the correct slides because I changed it yesterday and I think this is better. So I'll skip through some of the missed slides. So teaching your methodologies. We try to share our knowledge with our students and use different methodologies to teach the same information in different ways, transferring the knowledge from our short-term memory with a low level of understanding to our long-term memory and a deep level of understanding. So when we introduce new terms and new terminologies in English, we do it in a simple way to begin. And every time we touch on those terminologies and those language vocabularies and the language and context, every time it becomes more complicated and the students gain a deeper understanding. You'll notice some of the slides are the same. I'll skip through them. Okay. I prefer these slides, they're more explanatory. So we can use images in many ways to help students make meaning of something. Now, when we think of an image, quite often we just think of a photo. Cycles, graphs. Look at the compost life cycle. Now, that could actually be quite complicated to explain. Whereas here we have diagrams, we have arrows which show the direction of the process, and we just have 5 words underneath, 5 target words that we're choosing to teach the students. You could use the words with definitions and descriptions and just definition matches. Other images, again, processes, cycles that you can use for scientific purposes. You can develop them and make them up any way you choose with directional arrows. There's lots of examples on Google of processes, different kinds of charts, crosswords. Some skills can be furthered in the same way. So we're teaching a language and it's subject specific, but we're still going to use the 4 language skills. We always use 4 language skills in a classroom. What are our 4 language skills? Reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So it doesn't matter if we're teaching language or we're just teaching, we always use the 4 language skills. There is actually a 5th language skill which is really important. Body language, and that's cultural, yeah? So you use your body language in a way to encourage your students to answer a question. Give them time to process the information. It's in English. Let them process it. I've had people in my classroom observing from universities and things, and they thought, oh, I thought you stood there for far too long, and then all of a sudden somebody gave you the answer. I was like, yeah, you've just given them new information. You need to give them time to process it, think about it, and then transfer it and put it into speech. So prompt, use body language. I'll not tell you how to use your body language because it's a different culture, but use your body language to prompt the students. Give them perhaps the first letter of the answer. You're wanting to prompt them. What's the word you're looking for? Prompt. It's a prompt. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So use things like that to encourage them to speak, to encourage them to articulate what they've actually learned. Reading and listening, we use the same skills. Prediction activity. So before you do something, before you teach it, if it's appropriate, if it's relevant, you put up a subject, finance. What do you think you're going to learn today? Do you think you're going to learn? What do you think today's lesson is going to be? So you put your heading up and you get them to try to tell you in English what it is they think they're going to learn. And then at the end of the lesson, you can say to them, what have you learned today? And is it the same as what you thought you were going to learn? You can also do the same with language. So you can give them a text, you can give them an article, you can take out the target words that you know, the key words that they're not going to understand. And you can ask them to predict before they read the article what those words mean, so they can write down what they think it means. Read the article, and then they can compare and see whether they're correct or not. Looking at language and context, that's a deeper level of understanding. The initial contact is just a simple description, and every time your terms, your terminologies will repeat its subject, yeah? Listening or reading for gist. That's reading very, very quickly just to get an overall idea. You don't want specific information. What's this about? Ah, okay.